Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's just us three. We are the Man United agenda. Today is the preview Manchester United versus Leeds. Good evening, Mr. Juma. Good evening, Rebel. How are we doing, gentlemen?
Yeah, I'm not bad, man. Just looking forward. It's game after game, innit? I mean, no rest. You think it's like we're players. They have a day off for recovery, then they get back into training, like us. We're preparing for shows, and then we deliver shows as well. And then we do the warm down, which is the post-match show. So there's so much going on in the Man United agenda. It's like being a professional footballer, almost.
How you doing, Rebel?
I tell you what, it was a bank holiday weekend here in Ireland because we got an extra day because they decided to commemorate the work of the nurses during the COVID thing. But I'm completely and utterly discombobulated in terms of where I am in the week because I woke up this morning, thought, oh, today's Monday, I don't have to drive into the office. Half an hour later, I'm going, oh, nuts. It's Tuesday, and I needed to hit the road running like a bat out of hell. But look, we always have football to regulate us back onto the reality of life, don't we?
a little bit of normality.
Were you late, Rebel? Were you late?
No, I still made it on time for work. It was just that the morning kind of coffee and breaking myself into the day went out the window.
I mean, Mr. B, you're an early starter, aren't you? I mean, you're up at the crack of dawn.
Yeah.
So no room for lions for you.
No, I don't. I never get a lion with little man's football Saturday and Sunday as well. No, I don't know what a lion is, to be fair, but it's all right. When I'm dead, I'll sleep for as long as I need to sleep for. So it's all right. I got time. Guys, this game, obviously, we know the situation with Jesse Marsch being sacked. Do you feel that manager bounce is going to affect us in any way?
For me personally, I think usually it's when the new manager comes in that you get that kind of a bounce. Now, whether or not there is a bit of a relief and an unlocking of any restraints that Jesse had put on his team that we might see, that will remain to be seen. But it's a guy that's familiar to us, Chris Arms, that's likely to be taking charge against us tomorrow and on Sunday. So I'm not too worried about a manager bounce. If we were playing them after they got their house in order, it could be a different story.
Yeah, it's funny that I was listening to the press conference and he did answer this question. He said it doesn't really matter. He said it's a bit of a myth about this manager bounce thing. He said he doesn't think the sacking means better results for teams, you know? So if you sack someone, new manager comes in, doesn't necessarily mean you get better results. And then the only concern he had about it is a change of strategy. So imagine for weeks now, you're analysing Leeds based on their former manager and you're setting yourself up for a style of play that the former manager would bring. So the only concern he has is like, he's not clear to him what sort of system they'll be playing. And he sort of said, based on that, you have to have good anticipation for any event. So they could start with a back six, for example. It's very rare, but you never know. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and what are you going to do then? So you have to work, as the game kicks off, the manager's going to have to be clocking what's going on here, what are they trying to do to threaten us, and then go to work with his little notebook and his assistant and work out how to counter that if there is any changes. Leeds have been playing a one sort of busy style for a long time now with previous managers as well. They're really on it. They get around the park. They get in your face. And I think that won't change. Just tactically, there might be a subtle change because of the new caretaker manager coming in.
Agreed. He didn't. I'm not going to say he didn't impress. There wasn't much that he, all the grief was on Ranić, to be fair, when he was with us. I don't see any manager bounce. That's my opinion. I think we're still going to give him the smoke tomorrow.
I want to know what the people in the comments think. So let's go. Everyone, how you doing? Good evening. Carl Quinn, what a lovely message. Saying keep subscribing, folks, and help the agenda reach 3K. Yes, that's our next target. A bit like Man United. Our next target is Man City. We're going to take them over soon. True City fan, nice to see you, man. Big up. You're always supporting us. We want to return the favour. Big up to you. Yes, he's saying. We've got Bobby K in the house with the typical fist pump and the blue heart. How you doing, Bobby? How you doing, Andy Long? He says, evening, peoples. And the MEFC is saying, welcome back, lads. Ed Mayhem, I love that name. He says, evening all, give him a wave. Bill Badger's here as well. He's saying, good evening to the people. That's right. Bilal, good evening, gents. It's a lovely, lovely, warm welcomes here. Solo as well. Big up to the gender family and the gentlemen and all you gentlemen. Kerwin, how you doing? Says, yo, players. Yes, he's talking to you and Mr. B. That's Rebel. Nothing to do with me. I'm not a player. Sorry, my missus in the house. So, and crap, I just assumed the gender. Whoops, we can't be doing that. 2023. Saints Brigade Day Rebel. Yes.
St. Bridget's. That's what he means.
Is that the Monday? The Monday bank holiday day off?
Yeah.
Okay. Big up to you guys in Ireland. 3-0 says to MEFC for tomorrow. Couple more. Solo saying typically 3-1. Bring that smoke, no doubt. Andy Long saying, my 3-year-old won't let me lay in. Talking about layings and early starts. Singing 5, little Alex jumping on the bed while landing on my knackers. It's not a common weekend to wake up for me. Oh, good. AOC saying, we know Freddie's starting tomorrow, so no Casemiro and Everton. Or Matt Tominey. Yeah, we're a bit stumped there. Talking of stumped, we've got Stumpy Candlecloth in the house. He's saying, I'm here, only me. And Sabitzer, says Andy Long, is to show his importance to the team with strong defensive attributes and an assist or maybe a 25-yard rocket. Everyone keeps talking about his shooting based on the highlights, I imagine. Kerwin saying can Leeds interim manager defeat Ten Hag? Hell nah. It's not confidence. And Bart finally is saying, I'm really interested to see what Ten Hag does over the next 3 months. 3 games or so, as United have no Eriksen, Martial, Donny, or Casemiro, as well as McTominay and Sancho is only making his way back. Yeah, good question. We've been scratching our heads too.
Can I just say I'm delighted to see that Bart is alive and well, considering how his team are stumping along this season.
Ask him to message Ollie and Ollie Kunle and make sure that he's got the right vibes going on, you know. You partners in rhymes. Our squad decimated by injuries. Obviously a message just came up there. Central midfield is going to be a bit of an issue, but Martial's out again. Dallo isn't available again. I mean, obviously maybe they're working on time. And Anthony's unavailable. We'll get onto that point in the next topic or two. But guys, what do you think? And do you think we're struggling now? Do you think that the games coming up are really going to be causing us big issues?
Do you know, for me, I think the games that we have, in one way, have done us a favour, because if we had Liverpool or Arsenal or whoever coming up, I'd have been rather worried that especially in the time frame that we're going to be replaying those games. But a Leeds back-to-back, given that they lost to a team that we battered in Nottingham Forest in the Cup. And I think is it Leicester, who have been struggling as well this season, is the third game that Casemiro misses in his suspension. If it was any other set of fixtures, I'd have said, okay, hit the panic button. But the 3 midfielders that we have left should be enough to ride us through until we turn into, and actually gives an excuse to rest Casemiro for those Barcelona games as well. Even though it's enforced, I'm quite happy for us to navigate those waves. I'll be honest with you. It's not exactly what we'd want, but it's a sacrifice that we can afford to take with the games that we have.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there, Rebel. I mean, look, you were saying during the transfer window we do need to sign someone. It's just like a lifesaver. Sabitzer could be a lifesaver right now, because if we didn't have him, we'd be only one senior midfielder possibly in the squad going into this game. So Sabitzer and Fred seem like a likely partnership. We'll find out later from Solo's 11, who seems to be in the know. When the manager was asked about this, and he said about squad opportunities today in the press conference, he was saying that with Casemiro out, we have to win. We've got capable players ready to come in who are just sitting on the bench or waiting to deliver. And he's got full faith in the players to come in, whether that be Fred and Sabitzer or someone else beyond that. If you're going way back, way down to the Utes, maybe Zidane now and Kobe have been on the bench recently as well. So we do have an issue. It is an issue, Mr. B. You're right there by sort of pointing that out. We have to get these guys back as soon as possible. Obviously, the games. This is one game, two games to go after this when Casemiro gets back. But when we refer to Sabitzer, I think we had it was a great cameo he had coming on the other day. It was in a situation where we were under pressure. We were down to 10 men. And he showed, if you look at his little highlights reel, he showed all facets of his game. He was pinching the ball. He had a lot of energy. He passed the ball around. He got up top. He got up in the final third as well. And I'm sure everyone will be impressed with him. He's not the biggest guy, but he seems like he's got a lot of energy, a lot of technique, a lot of ambition to be at the club as well. So he's got an opportunity. Imagine being signed and thinking, I'm not getting games at Bayern. I might go to Man United to try and get some games, but I see Casemiro, I see Eriksen. Suddenly it's like the door's been wide open for you to really show what you're really about. So Sabitzer, please stand up, please step up, and let's represent. And hopefully, when we watch the game, doing a live watch along as well, we can all eyes on you, man. All eyes on you from the start. We're going to see what you've got for us. And it's welcome to the Premiership against Leeds. That's a reward of roses. It's full on. Welcome, Sabitzer, to Premiership. I hope you do well, man, and please stay card free and injury free if you don't mind.
Can I just add one point on Sabitzer? It's interesting that we ended up with him because he is a player that Ranić mentioned to the board last January, and there was two other names that was with him: Enzo Fernandez and Alvarez. And I think the three of them at the time would have cost us a combined 20 million euro or something ridiculous like that. And it just goes to show that you can get players at reasonable prices with the proper set of notes and research done on them.
Well, listen, I'll don my boots and stand up and give them their Lucozade on the side, mate. That's about as good as it's gonna get, to be fair. I mean, I'll be honest. I wish I had the talent of a Garnacho or a Sancho, and the fact that Sancho's back is brought. I mean, we were, the excitement of having those three running at them the other day. It brought joy to my face. I'll be honest. I'm glad he's back. The only question, really, the only situation that I think Ten Hag is with this situation is we've tried to second guess Ten Hag and we keep getting it wrong. Now, I've got a theory. I do have a theory about Sancho or Garnacho starting. Guys in the chat, I want to know. I'm not going to do a one or two or solo. I just want to know, do you think Sancho's going to start or do you think Garnacho's going to start? And you know what? If you could give just a short reasoning why your choice is, well, I'm going to give you mine. I think Garnacho's going to start. I think Rashford's going to start on the right and Vikos is going to start up front. The reason why I don't think Sancho will be starting is if you look at what Ten Hag's been doing with the players, they get game time, they get more game time, and if they prove themselves, they get the start. I don't think he's going to throw Sancho straight in. So I think he'll go Rashford right, Garnacho left, and then obviously when Garnacho tires, big boy Rashford would go right. And it then gives him the option to do what he did in the last game, to play Sancho as the number 10 and Bruno on the right. Or if it does need doing, then he'll bring Sancho on. That's my thoughts on Monday.
I'm thinking now. Look, all right. Here's where we're at. Sancho's just coming back. He's obviously a more experienced player than Garnacho. He's senior to him. He's his senior. But the fact that he's just coming back from his time off, whatever reason was going on there, he looked fresh. He looks fit. He looks slim. He looks ready to go. Do you ease this man in, or are we forced to bring him back? Now, who's at this stage? Garnacho, I think, has been coming off on a sub late in the game when the game is stretched and he can really go at teams. When he started, I haven't been that impressed when he's coming up against an organised block and being doubled up on. I haven't been too impressed with him. I think in the Premiership, it would be a big call if Garnacho starts. I think Sancho starts. I think it's time for him to step up. The relief is off. I think once you showcased him again, welcome back. He got the smiles, he got the cheers, and everyone's like, right, he's back now. It's not like, so it was it an injury? Do we need to nurse him back in, or was it something mental, spiritual, where once he's got the door's been open again, he's gone out on the pitch, and the fans have embraced him. That will give him pure confidence. And I'm sure he'd be saying to the manager, I'm ready to go. Otherwise, he wouldn't be in the squad, in my opinion. So for me, Sancho starts. Garnacho is a good guy to come off the bench, as he does, not usually, about 70 minutes. So I'm going Sancho, Rashford on the left, and my big man, Weghorst, up front.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's interesting that there's a number of options on the card for Ten Hag. One is Anthony Elanka could start on the right. I don't believe that would be the option he goes with. I think that moving Rashford from either the left or at the point of the attack is also equally as unlikely, because Ten Hag hasn't really deployed him out on the right. So therefore, I do struggle to see Garnacho starting, unless for some reason he decides maybe Weghorst needs a bit of a rest and he puts Rashford at the point of the attack. But that still leaves the problem of somebody going out on the right. So there's two options there that I do think are possible. We've seen Sancho playing the 10 in some of the games that he's come back, with Bruno being pushed out on the right. That could happen again, and maybe there could be a bit of a fluid interchange of Sancho popping out there with Bruno going back central and give a bit of an option to confuse Leeds, or Sancho just starts on the right. Judging on how he's been deployed so far, I actually honestly think that Sancho starts in the 10 and Bruno goes right.
Ooh, three different ones.
2-1, Mr. B. Have you outnumbered? Let's see if the comments got any leads. You got any leads, guys? We're playing Leeds. Anyway, Garnacho says MUFC. We got Hell on Wheels 87 saying Garnacho all the way. I'm glad Sancho's back, but Erik Ten Hag doesn't mess with form. We've got Bill Badger saying Garnacho, fitter and Leeds are shite. Ed Mayhem saying Garnacho purely due to lack of game time for Sancho. So it's a bit of a dilemma here. We've got to work this out. Bilo, and they're giving, look, you asked for it, Mr. B, they're giving you reasons as well, not just throwing out names or ones and twos, as they say. By the way, I'm not going to say no, I won't tell that joke. Bilo saying, I want to see Garnacho Sancho partnership. That's Garnacho with Sancho partnership. That'd be nice. Sancho to come on after 60 minutes, says Andy Long. Sancho won't start because he's still not peak fitness, and we'll use him as sub, says MUFC. JJ, how you doing? Says Garnacho has shown that when he plays, he brings energy. That's for sure. Kerwin said, I agree. I think some way to get Bruno into the right hand side, as Rebel was saying, but we're short in the middle. So Rashford on the right. Sancho must start. He's the freshest, says Eddie. HG Gamer, how you doing? Says Sancho probably is starting, no doubt about it, no question about it. Anthony Martial injured. Anthony and Martial is injured. I always get confused. Anthony, Martial, and Martial. First names only, please. Helen Wills is saying you eased him in. Garnacho is on form. And like I said, Erik Ten Hag doesn't mess with form. Garnacho will give an option in behind and will try to run beyond the defenders. Sancho seems to be operating more between the lines lately, as Rebels pointed out when he came on the other day as a number 10. MUFC says Sancho hasn't got enough minutes to start the season. Garnacho will rip Leeds apart, says MUFC. Couple more. The players want that Ten Hag will be looking at is Elanga, Bruno, Garnacho, and Sancho possibly as fourth choice. So there's a variety of options there. Big up to Niall Kane as well. Nice to see you, Niall Kane. Always respect. Always respect.
A mixed bag, but I do believe that we went. It seems like that worked out to be a Sancho start, to be a Garnacho start, to be fair. So I think as much as the panel may be one, I think the people in the chat, and if we go with the masses, I think they all sided with me. So I mean, it'd be interesting to see what does happen tomorrow. I mean, look, the best part of the show is when Solo's team comes up and everybody says, "Where's Fred? Where's Fred? Where's Fred?" I mean, that's the beauty of Solo's 11. So guys, look, obviously Solo's not here, but he has got his 11 up. We do have his 11 flashing. Do you agree? This is what we really want. And this now is just a simple yes or no.
So he's got De Gea in goal, Shaw, Martinez, Varane, and Wan-Bissaka. Sabitzer and Fred, standard. Rashford, Bruno, Sancho, Sancho, and Weghorst up front. So he's got Sancho and usual suspects, I suppose. What do you think about that, Rebel? I mean, he doesn't usually get it wrong, does he? Solo 11.
Yeah, well, the one where he normally comes a cropper is in midfield, but I think circumstances dictated that it wasn't even possible for him to get this one wrong because the sum of the parts equals the number of places. But De Gea obviously in goal, Shaw, one of the most informed left backs in Premier League, Martinez, Varane, our best centre back partnership. Wan-Bissaka actually is showing a side of him that I didn't think was in his game, the way he's cutting in on the midfield. I think that is very Ten Hag wing-back style play, and maybe could endear him more to him again and cause a bit of a headache when Dalot comes back to fitness. Sabitzer Fred has to be to start, and I think the only bone of contention will be, does Sancho start, and where does Sancho start?
Sancho's not starting, Rebel. He's not starting.
You're getting a lot of love here from Tabo. Mr. B, my brother, I love you. He loves you.
Oh,
he loves you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Emma's saying here she would start Malacia. We haven't seen Malacia much as a starter, but that's a shout from Emma. I'd like to talk about that. De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Martinez, Shaw, says MUFC. Sabitzer and Fed. The Feds or Fred? Fernandes, Rashford, Garnacho, and Weghorst. So he's gone for Garnacho. I want to say hi to Sports Chris. He says Sancho doesn't track back constantly. It will probably be Garnacho. I disagree. I think Garnacho's the one with defensive issues tracking back. I think Sancho does put shift in. And then we've got another team from Bill Badger. He's saying Dave, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Shaw, Malacia. Also Shaw at centre back. That's interesting. Martinez with Fred and Sabitzer in midfield. Bruno on the right, Rashford and Weghorst. That's an interesting team, isn't it?
Bill, come on now. Okay, I'm going to ask you one question. How much time? When was the last time that Martinez played in central midfield? He hasn't even been deployed in that. The game that he had the option, like when the subs were made, he played Lindelof. No chance. Absolutely no chance of Martinez getting into that central midfield.
Rebel, your fellow Irishman, I want you to talk on this one. He's gone De Gea, Malacia. This is weird. So Malacia at right back, Varane, Martinez, and Shaw. Sabitzer, Fred, Sancho, Fernandes, Rashford, and Weghorst. So
Solos team. Bar. He's dropping AWB for Malacia, which is an interesting one. The one thing I did want to pick up Mr. B's point, yes, we haven't seen Martinez in central midfield, and even if he's working on that role in training, he's not going to play that ace card against Leeds in the league. He's going to save that for a game where he wants to turn somebody's head, a cropper, the likes of a final or a semi-final. You're not going to play a trump card like that.
Do you think he would do? Do you think he would do it? Because that's really a pep. That's a pep type. You know, dropping De Bruyne for a really big game or not playing Rodri in the final. I think that's a pep move. I don't think Ten Hag would do that, to be fair. I think he would go with tried and tested.
Mr. B, question. Sorry, my question from Mr. B said, from Tabu, saying, Mr. B, what's your view on Sancho going forward, as in the future, and how much time does he have with Ten Hag? So that's an interesting one.
He's got loads of time. I think he's got loads of time. If you look at what the goals that Sancho scored earlier on in the season, we were talking about, they were central. They were central. He came on. Maybe I just have a feeling that Ten Hag is molding him into a different type player. That's what I'm feeling. That's the feeling that I have. His pace, if you look at what Ten Hag wants going forward, he wants pace. He wants pace. We've got left side pace, right side pace. We don't necessarily have. I just feel that Sancho's going to be deployed in just that striker position. Those small, cute passes, the little flicks of his feet, the little balls that he can play in. I'm convinced, absolutely convinced.
Do you know?
I mean, Rebel, you mentioned that as well about him playing more centrally. You going with that as well?
Yeah, like the interesting thing is, I think for the rest of the season, with the numbers the way they are, we had a bit of a joke about Martinez playing in the six. I think it would actually be more likely for Bruno to revert into that 8 role that he used to play in between Casemiro and a 10, then actually Martinez coming into the midfield. So I'd imagine that's the reason why he's so keen to get Sancho dialed in, and as Mr. B rightly points out, that central role in behind the striker, because I think he can do bits. And now that it looks like Martial is unlikely to be able to stay fit, which is it's a shame, because he looks like he's a guy that was, after turning a corner this season, he just hasn't been able to stay fit long enough to show us his repertoire. Just
to go through, I've got some Leeds news. I've got some Leeds about Leeds injuries. Their striker Rodrigo has been having a great season, hasn't he? He's out for a number of weeks after being injured in the FA Cup. Robin Cox, is back after missing a 1-0 defeat at Forest due to suspension. They got Liam Cooper, he's a centre back, taking his place in the previous game. Brendan Arison made a surprising appearance from the bench at City Ground, despite having an appendix only last week operation. Stuart Dallas, Adam Forshaw, Archie Gray, and Sonny Perkins have all been absentees as well. So they've got, apart from Rodrigo, who's the main guy out, I think they'll be on it. But they're sitting down the table, aren't they? So I'm when it comes to predictions and things like that, I know there's a lot of confidence in the chat, obviously because Ten Hag's been doing well this season. But we're at home. Ten Hag did mention during the game, during the press conference, he said that he was asked about his home form, and he said, yeah, that's part of the process. The home form is getting better. But he said, because of the away fans as well, and big up to all you away fans going to away grounds, he must see enough Man United fans at away grounds as well. He reckons that would improve too. He says it's only a pitch, same size. We need to start performing away from home as well. And our away form is pretty good, to be fair. So I think being at home and having to play them twice in a week was really rare that happens, you know. I think if we could beat them up badly, when it comes to Ellen Road, we could take their heart, like rip out their heart and feed it to them at Old Trafford. And then a couple of days later, they're not going to have enough. They're going to say, oh, man, let's just forget about this game and focus on others. That sort of thing. That's what I'd like to see. So we've got to be ruthless out there. And I think that's why he's going to play his strongest side, including Sancho. So if I was picking scores, I'd say based on they've lost their manager, I don't think it's going to be a bounce back. We're on fire at the moment, despite players being out. I think Sabitza's going to be very motivated and so dominate the midfield. I think the crowd are going to get on our back because we're 2 points behind City or whatever it is. For all these factors and the motivation of thing right now, Sancho will be motivated. Nacho, if he starts, will be motivated. Veghorst will be doing bits. Leeds a bit wide open. They do give us a lot of opportunities. They've been known to. I know despite different managers, but they have been a bit open. And they're not, when you look at their players, Liam Cooper and Robin Cox, I mean, come on. Surely. So I think we're going to open them up and I think we're going to win 4-1.
Oh, you think they're going to score? Look at that. Yeah. As you said it. So I'll take my hands off.
No, I just saw it myself.
yeah. That's crazy. Right on cue.
Great minds. That's my score. 4-1, guys. That means a battering. And that will diminish any chance of Ellen Road them getting up for the game. They won't be up for it after that.
I'm going to get the nice part of this out of the way first. I do want to thank Leeds for giving us King Eric and Rio Ferdinand in the past. That was much appreciated. We do enjoy stealing your best players from you. In terms of the fixture list, I'm looking at these two Leeds games and Leicester. They come before we meet Newcastle, West Ham and Liverpool. So for me, it's important nearly to get 9 points in the next 3 games because we're going to need to bank that in order to prevent any damage being done to our top 4 hopes in a slip-up in those other games. The one player I will say that could turn out to be a pain in the keys for us is the American McKinney, who they got on loan for absolutely dirt cheap from Juventus, 1.5 million or something ridiculous like that. It will be interesting to watch him go around and literally stick to Bruno, I think, and try to cause disruption. But overall, I think looking at the way they played against Nottingham Forest and the form that they've been in, nobody's going to turn them around in that short of time frame and make them into a competent football team. It's just not going to happen. I'm going to go for the shutout, 3-0 United.
Only 3? I'm going to be honest. Guys, if you are still in the chat, get some scores in. I'm going to go with CeeLo. I'm looking at a 5. I said, Monday, you go with the 1s because, you want the shutout. I'm just convinced that somebody's going to take one this season at home. At home, I'm convinced. I'm convinced that somebody's going to take one within the next 3 or 4 games. I can't see it being Barcelona. So Leeds at home, I would take. I would take a 4 or a 5. I'm going to go 5.
Can I just go back to a comment that you just highlighted, Monday Kalo? He mentioned that a Rashford hat-trick. I would absolutely love that because there's a little bit of action going on between me and FTSN Column. We had Broccoli Gate with Mr. B, where he had to eat broccoli on the takeaway. Column has a packet of the hottest, spiciest jelly babies in the world. And if Rashford hits 18 or more Premier League goals, that's only 8 goals away, man is eating those jelly beans live.
Oh, really? Oh, that's beautiful.
Column.
Oh, Column. Oh, good. Those glasses going to steam up, aren't they? Can't wait to see that. Wow. Column, you're a brave man. Get betting in with this savvy Irishman above me. But yeah, that'd be interesting. Colin, I can't wait. Be a man of your word and don't run away. Look, you only got to represent Mr. B. He didn't want to do what he had to do, but he did it for the sake of his word and his honor. But yeah, there's a couple of score lines here, guys. Bilal saying 3-1. We've got Stumpy. He's asking where we can watch the game, but he did say some stupid score as he usually does. Leeds United 3. Bill Badger's going 2-0. We got a 4-0 from Heligon Wills. And obviously the 4-1, what I suggested. I think we will take our foot off the gas. Once the game's done, I think we're going to take our foot off the gas and rest some players. We've got 3-0 from Man United FC, MUFC, sorry. And I think Garnacho will be a threat, says Bila.
And just to answer MUFC's question, how's the game not on UK TV tomorrow? The original game was not selected for television coverage, and therefore the refix fixture, even though it's in isolation, can't be televised under the television rights agreement.
That's a wrap. I hope we can win there tomorrow, Whitman.
Guys, listen. If we score the goals and Rashford scored the goals, I promise you, Tabo, I will go crazy. Along with everybody, we will go crazy. Guys, thank you for watching. This has been the preview. Me and Monday back tomorrow. 7:30 in the house.
I'm free.
Yeah, fantastic. 10:15 reaction show as well, guys. Hit that notification bell. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. If you haven't shared it, share it. Rebel, any final words?
Just I agree with MK's comment. How do you not select that game for television? But it is what it is.
Said, look, who knows? But guys, it's been us. We are the agenda, and we will be back tomorrow.
Bye-bye.